Hello everyone, I have a few videos here of artillery strikes on Russian tanks to look at. In this first video clip, a tank is tracked by a Ukrainian spotter drone. It's moving along a road and then seen creeping into a tree line. So, I think this was going to be its intended firing position rather than a hiding spot. As soon as the tank halts, it's then hit by an extremely accurate artillery round. One strike, and it's finished. Excellent work by the Ukrainian gunners. Let me replay the impact again. So the artillery strike hits the tank from above, looking like it hit the tank on the front, just in front of its coat cage. This was geolocated to be here, by Blinska. The tank headed along the route highlighted in blue, before it was hit after creeping through the bushes like a voyeur. If we zoom out, we can see that this is pretty much in the sticks, the nearest settlement being a town or village called Ploshchanka. Now, I'm not familiar with this area, so let's turn to deep states and check the territorial control. So this tank was close, very close actually, to the grey zone showing contested territory. So right on the front lines this was, only 1.2 kilometres or thereabouts away. And this was patient work by the gunners, tracking the tank along its route until it halted at a firing position, and then artillery was called in on it. And at this short range, the tank would have been more than capable of engaging Ukrainian targets and positions in this region. This took place in a quiet area, relatively speaking. No ongoing offensives are shown on deep states here, on either side. It is in between two ongoing Russian offensives, one near Kremen to the south and another to the north of this position. Here's the location overall, so you can see it's on the eastern front, heading north in Luhansk Oblast. Now, let's check out the second clip I have for you. In this one, a Russian tank is seen moving across a field, engaging Ukrainian positions in a tree line not far away. The tank is hit by something. I'm not sure if artillery or an anti-tank missile. This starts a rather catastrophic ammo cook-off. It's another good, accurate strike. This took place here. The tank was heading south when it was hit, and it was engaging Ukrainian positions in the tree line, which I've highlighted by the blue box. If we zoom out, we can see this occurred not far from the first tank in the first video we saw. Now, I'm not sure if these were part of the same attempted Russian attack, so an attack by Russia on Ukrainian positions from two sides, or if these were separate incidents on separate days. On deep states, this one occurred here, so an attempted Russian push south to clear this tree line. Now, this was just one tank, so I don't think this was a real major attempt to capture and hold positions. It could be a probe with Ukrainian defences in the area, or just an attempt using the tanks to cause as much damage as possible, with the tank intended to pull back and retreat. This occurred in the same region as the past incident, so again, Eastern Front in Luhansk towards the north. Now, my third and final video clip for today. This is a pretty cool one. We can see a Russian T-80BV in a defensive revetment near Russia's defensive lines, being hit by an extremely accurate artillery strike. This was reported by some sources online as being GMLRS, so from HIMARS, but it was actually Excalibur, and it's a perfect hit, hitting the tank slap bang on the noggin. Now, I have a couple of screenshots here. First, there's no troop present seen in these trenches, so I've seen it suggested that this trench is a bit behind the lines and this tank may have been abandoned here, purely to draw artillery fire. I don't think that is the case. Why would Russia waste a perfectly good T-80BV tank using them as a decoy? Even if it was broken down and wasn't operational, they would likely try and repair it. So I do think this was an operational tank in a dug-in revetment to provide fire support. It wasn't moving and was possibly empty at the time though. Second screenshot. A few people said the Excalibur hit caused no damage and the tank survived. That isn't the case. While externally the tank does look fine, check the barrel on this screenshot. You can see smoke coming out of it. Now, when a tank's barrel starts vaping, it's a sure sign that there's an internal fire inside the tank. So this T-80 is finished. No location was given at all for this incident, but given it was guarding defensive works, it is possible it was somewhere in Zaporizhia. Now, a quick look at the numbers. The first two tanks I'm not sure what types they were, so I will have a look at the total number of tanks on Oryx and check that number. A massive 2,329 listed so far. And remember, this is just visually confirmed as losses. The true number will likely be higher. 1,518 of these tanks were destroyed, 129 damaged, 134 abandoned, 550 captured. These are huge numbers. Over 1,100 of these are T-72 variants. Over 600 are T-80s. Speaking of the T-80, the final video we looked at, the tank is a T-80BV. So let's have a look at the T-80BV losses in total. 407 on Oryx so far, with over 200 other more modern T-80 variants. So big losses for this type too. Russia had 2,030 T-72s in service last year and 460 T-80s, of which 310 were T-80BVs and T-80Us. So Russia is definitely eating the way through their reserve stockpile of T-80s at the moment. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it interesting. If so, please click like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Now, before we finish, I am going to play a video from the Ukraine Volunteer Centre and the 3rd Battalion. It's a report on a recent fundraiser that we did, showing the results of the money raised. So big thanks to everybody who donated. I appreciate it a lot, and they appreciate it a lot. Take care everybody, and enjoy the video.
Good afternoon, my name is Dmitry, I'm a head of the fund of Ukrainian Volunteer Center. Before we start with the report, I want to explain you about car and report of equipment. Since we needed only one car, we bought a slightly more expensive Suzuki Grand Vitara instead of Nissan X-Trail. This car is much better for conditions in which we transferred this car, and we also brought it to 100% good conditions. Good afternoon, greetings from the Ukrainian Volunteer Center. Today we are delivering Suzuki Grand Vitara to the paramedics on the bridge direction. This car will save hundreds of lives from death. We have also brought them some convenience food, chocolate, tea, coffee, pork stew, crockery and cereal. And we took care about warm jackets because of the coming cold weather. Each your donation saves people from death and soldiers from death. Thank you for your help and trust. Glory to Ukraine.
Героям слава!